On the eve of the special election in Montana, which was already way too close for comfort for Republicans there, we have breaking news at this moment from Bozeman, Montana, where the Republican candidate for Congress has reportedly assaulted a reporter covering the race. Greg Gianforte is the Republican candidate for Montana's lone at-large congressional seat running in tomorrow's special election against Democratic candidate Rob Quist. Guardian reporter Ben Jacobs has been out in Montana covering that race. And just after 7 o'clock Eastern, Jacobs tweeted the following: Greg Gianforte just body slammed me and broke my glasses. 10 minutes later, Jacobs tweeted there was a local TV crew there when Gianforte body slammed me. Audio is posting soon at Guardian US. Naturally, we reached out to Jacobs, confirmed this was not a joke. We've also reached out to the Gianforte campaign to get their version of events. We await a response. There were witnesses, however, and we have one of them on the phone right now. Alexis Levinson of BuzzFeed News was in Bozeman and saw the confrontation. She joins me live on the phone now. Alexis, are you there?
Hey, I'm here.
Okay, Alexis. So just what did you see? How did this go down?
So Ben and I drove over to this event. It's at the Gianforte campaign headquarters in Bozeman. We walked in, it's a bunch of people making phone calls. We'd both been requesting time with him. It was clear they were not psyched to give Ben time. I'm not entirely clear on why, but there seemed to be, one of Gianforte's aides indicated there was some sort of issue with some prior, they had taken some sort of issue with something the Guardian had written about the race previously or done about the race previously. And then Gianforte went into kind of a side room off this little area where people were making calls, and then there was a TV crew set up in there, a local TV crew. Ben kind of walked in, as we all do, to kind of listen in on everyone's interviews. And I wasn't really paying attention, and then all of a sudden I heard this huge crash, like really alarming. This is, 15 people in like a small kind of room, and I saw someone's feet fly in the air. And then I heard yelling, and it was pretty clearly Gianforte's voice from what I've heard him say before. And he said something to the effect, and I gather Ben has audio, so he'll have a more accurate read on this, but it was something to the effect of, get out of here, get out of here. Are you from the Guardian? This is the same damn thing the other people did. And then someone slammed, I may be a little off on the timeline with the rest of it, but someone, in some particular order, someone slammed the door and then opened the door. Ben came out. His glasses were broken. He said, he just body slammed me. He sort of stood there stunned for a second. An aide went into the room, came back out, told Ben, you need to leave. And Gianforte and an aide walked into another room, closed the door. Everyone just sort of sat there silently because everyone in the room had heard all of this. Ben went outside, cops were called, paramedics were called. Ben was last I saw him in an ambulance on the way to the hospital. I have to go do the police are interviewing people, or the sheriffs are interviewing people. I have to go do like a formal witness interview after this, I think.
Police and fire came, ambulance came, Ben was taken.
Fire came, Ben is in an ambulance. They were saying he's fine. And you should definitely talk to him about this, not me, but they were saying he's fine. He wanted to go to they obviously advise everyone to go to the hospital after something like this. And Gianforte went into a room with aides. Everyone kind of went behind closed doors. There were a lot of aides coming and going from behind closed doors. And Gianforte went out, and you can see him for a while. And my understanding is I think he might have been talking to the police. There was the police, the EMT guys said someone was talking to the police. They didn't specify who. He disappeared for a while. And then I started to go back inside and saw that Gianforte was in the passenger seat in a car with two of his aides, and I asked one of the aides what was going on. He just didn't answer, and they got in the car and drove away. And now the sheriff's department is still here interviewing people.
So I just want to make sure I have this right. This was a campaign event that was in just a campaign headquarters, so it's just volunteers around, like, making calls, right?
Yeah. So I mean, this was it's on his official press schedule. This was supposed to be just his final campaign event before Election Day. A thank you for volunteers. It's at their campaign headquarters in Bozeman, which is in sort of this office park in Bozeman. And it was just a lot of volunteers sitting there making calls when I walked in.
So they're sitting there making calls. The side room that he goes into is a side room which a local TV network had set up a sort of shoot for an interview. And when Ben went in that room, was it just Ben and Gianforte in there, or were there a bunch of other people in that room?
I believe the TV crew was in there.
I see.
They were in there when I saw it before. And
So people saw this.
Ben sort of, it was sort of like a you know, we all do this when TV crews interview a candidate. You sort of like stand there so you can get the audio as well.
Right.
Since they tend not to want to give like endless interviews on the same thing. And Ben sort of, you know, was standing in the door. The door was wide open. There was no.
So he doesn't doesn't even go in. He doesn't even duck in to like go ask a bunch of questions. He's there lurking to listen to the interview.
I didn't hear him say anything. I saw him duck in.
I mean, not that asking questions would mean that he deserved what happened, but just to clarify.
I can't speak for what happened in the room because I didn't try and go in. I was sort of just standing there, but I heard the crash and I saw his feet fly.
And he came out and said, with broken glasses in his hand, he just body slammed me.
Yeah.
And then the candidate went into another room with an aide and was behind closed doors for a while.
Yes.
And then the police came, ambulance and fire came, and the police, the sheriff's office, are now taking witness statements right now?
They just took one from me, and they said they had to tell me to come somewhere to do a formal interview.
All right. Thank you so much, Alexis Levinson, live from Bozeman, Montana. Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.